Well, now that Brian's here at 6 o'clock, we'll we can get our meeting underway. There are Title VI forms on the back table. If anyone cares to fill one of those out and turn it in at the auditor's office. I'm going to ask our sheriff to lead us in the pledge and followed by prayer driven Jackson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let me say a few words before our prayer. It's good to honor Chuck this evening and to remember why he did what he did in service to our community. In planning for Chuck's funeral, Brenda made it clear that Psalm 26 was his favorite psalm. We read Psalm 26. Declare me innocent, O Lord, for I have acted with integrity. I have trusted in the Lord without wavering. Put me on trial, Lord, and cross-examine me. Test my motives and my heart. For I am always aware of your unfailing love, and I have lived according to your truth. I do not spend time with liars or go along with hypocrites. I hate the gatherings of those who do evil, and I refuse to join in with the wicked. I wash my hands to declare my innocence. I come to your altar, O Lord, singing a song of thanksgiving and telling of all your wonders. I love your sanctuary, Lord, the place where your glorious presence dwells. Don't let me suffer the fate of sinners. Don't condemn me along with murderers. Their hands are dirty with evil schemes, and they constantly take bribes. But I am not like that. I live with integrity. So redeem me and show me mercy. Now I stand on solid ground, and I will publicly praise the Lord. Chuck's efforts to serve were a public praise to the Lord. And, like men of old, Daniel, Nehemiah in the Old Testament, these were government officials who served in honor of the Lord. And so thank you to our servants here who serve the Lord in this capacity. Thank you to all you members of the community. Would you bow with me in prayer? Lord, we remember Chuck and his family. We thank you for the service he has given to our community and the service his family continues to give throughout the state of Indiana. We pray that you will bless his family, and we thank you for being touched by Chuck's life. Bless this meeting now, in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Well, it's with heavy hearts, and our hearts go out to Brenda and family and all Chuck did and meant to us. So, view the February 20th minutes. Any questions or corrections?
No questions or corrections to the minutes. I move to approve.
Second. Anything on claims?
I just had a couple quick questions. Sheriff, since you're, I know you have to leave early for another meeting, but I just had a quick question for you. There was talk from the prior administration about some issues with some of the valves that were corroding, I think, or had to be rebuilt.
Correct.
And it looks like there was a recent claim here for $1,076.38. Is that the same issue?
It is, yes.
Okay, so that's how much we're talking per valve that needs to be repaired.
We're trying to pull together all the numbers of all the valves that have been replaced in the last 3 years. I've also put out for quotes on replacing water softener. I have received one back and the rest is declined to quote. So I'm still putting all those numbers together. I'll be presenting to you shortly.
Okay, so I was just curious if that was the same issue that we're still dealing with.
So is there a water softener system in there now, or?
There is one for dishwasher and for laundry, but the rest of the building there is not. So that's our issue.
And then the only other question I had, and Todd, I had looked up the actual claim in the box over here, and I wasn't real sure. It looked like it had Tim's name on it. It was for Pictometry International Corp. For change finder project fee, change detection, digital parcel file. Two separate claims there, totaling almost $50,000.
And what was it on again?
What did you
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's not highway, it's probably a GIS out of that bucket.
Oh, okay. That
Most
works.
likely.
I was just curious because it came out of CUNCAP, and when I looked over there, I thought it had Tim Portman's name on
Yes,
it.
so he does GIS and then also two hats there.
Awesome. Okay. Well, that puts you off the CD.
Yeah.
All right. I don't have it either. I don't have any questions, and I'd move to approve.
No second. Have payroll for March the 3rd.
To approve.
Mr. Todd Allen.
Well, gentlemen, I've got a few things. First thing I've got the hot box running out fixing potholes on the road. And also we have the AMP oil for the Durapatchers. I've got two of those running, trying to stay up on top of these crumbling roads, especially these trees that fall. We're still working on bridge maintenance throughout the county, preventative maintenance. I got some miscellaneous projects going on in the shop. Called the railroad back again, and I'm waiting to hear back from them. If I don't hear back from them, I'll probably go contact the FRA, see if we can move forward, proceed about the repairs on some of these crossings. Today, went out and did log jams and washouts from the 3-inch rain we had. We also had a road pretty much wash away out there at Lake McCoy, right below the dam. We were out there this morning and got that road fixed and repaired where it's travelable now. And I'd like to say thank you to Brian Owens Company for the auction. They did sell the old boom mower, and they sold the pickup truck. So I thought that they did a pretty good job out there.
Good deal.
Do you gentlemen have anything for me?
So I know I previously talked to you about that railroad crossing on 550. So you're looking into other railroad crossings.
Well, I went and looked at a couple other ones, and because the last that I'd heard, the last time they did repairs in Decatur County was 1988. So I don't know if they need to do a county. I don't know what's involved in that.
Sure.
Railroad's a different animal
Yes, it
from what I understand. So if anything, I'm just trying to get some input where we can get that crossing repaired. Because we can't go on it.
Yeah.
And then also the damage that happened on 350 West, trying to dig into the bottom of that too. So I don't want too much time to get by and say that it lapsed 160 days and we can't do anything. So just trying to stay on top of it.
Very good. Thank you.
Kristen.
Good evening. I have a couple of things for you today. The first is our APC, Air Plan Commission membership. I've been kind of waiting for an appointment from Purdue to the extension office. And we finally got someone. However, she does not live or own property in the county, so it makes her a non-voting member, which gives me an 8 voting member board. So I'm here to ask you if you can either revise the ordinance that we have some way so that I can so that you can, or someone can appoint an additional member so that I've got a 9-member board again, voting board. She said she doesn't have any intention of moving here. She lives in Ohio, so state statute says that a citizen member has to live in the county and or own property in the jurisdiction. So I sent you a copy of the ordinance that you have, and I just am asking if you could take a look at it and maybe make an adjustment to something.
I had some questions after reading your email and reading the statute. And so when I had those questions, I bounced it off of Chad as well, just to make sure that my limited knowledge in this area was accurate. Chad, do you want to speak to what you found in your review of it?
Yeah, so in terms of the board membership, that our ordinance tracks the state statute. You cannot relieve the requirements or remove that person in favor of somebody else because it is a designated position. Nothing I found in the state statute talks about how to replace a non-citizen member, and our ordinance does not speak as to how to replace them either. It only speaks to replacing appointed members of the board. As commissioners get appointment, or schools get an appointment. This is a specifically designated person. So we can't amend our ordinance to allow the person to serve because it violates the state statute.
But didn't we do that with the county surveyor? I mean, it called out the county surveyor. Now, it could have had a stipulation that a surveyor or somebody else, but we eliminated the county surveyor, made him a non-voting member. And then we had the commissioners put another member on. So they had 2 appointments to the ABC. And then Andy, county surveyor, went to a non-voting member. And that's kind of what I was hoping we could do. Now, I don't know.
I did not look specifically at that. If we did it and it violates the statute, we should have. I have to go back and look, but we can't put somebody else in the place of the educator in terms of how to then fill that vacancy. The ordinance might be able to be amended to allow the educator to designate an agent to serve in her spot, in her capacity. That would be the most viable option at the moment, but you can't remove the position because it's mandated by the statute.
All right. We'll keep looking at, I'll look into it further. And we'll talk to you and see what we can come up with an idea. Okay, the second thing that I have for you today is I've got 2 roads in the county that on the roads. Okay, the first one is North Old US Highway 421. And along that road, I have multiple addresses. Old 421, Old Highway 421, Old US Highway 421. And I was just going to change the road to match 911 so that and every address would be the same on that road. However, in going through some information, I found that the commissioners in 2006 had written an ordinance identifying that road as Old Highway, Old US Highway 421 is what the commissioners voted to call the road. Well, it's not a US highway and it's not even a highway, but all of our road signs say Old 421. And I would like to change the name to just Old 421, just like the sign says, and take out US Highway. And I'm asking for your approval, asking for your guidance, asking for your opinion.
I would look to this guy. What's your thoughts?
We don't want to ask him because he wants it just to be Michigan.
Yeah.
And
Isn't it Michigan Street out Honda?
Yes.
on the other side of the city though, it's it's US Highway 421, but it is a US highway on the south side. So it's just that north section. In our ordinance, we identify that we don't want that all the county roads should be numbered accordingly to the grid, and not that that changes anything, but I'd rather not have Michigan Road out there, but
What problem are you specifically trying to correct?
We are working with 911 in the system to get all of our addresses in our system, in the 911 system, to be identical. And in doing that, I found so many variations of this address that I was trying to fix it, and it just got, the deeper I got, the more mess that I found. And then when I found the ordinance that said that you guys had, or that the commissioners in '06 had an ordinance to call it Old US Highway 421, I thought I better stop and get some other opinions. I didn't mean to cut you off, Todd.
I don't have a problem with it, just being on 421. I think that's what most of the signs say.
Every sign, all the way
Stay on
to
there, so I
Shelby
wouldn't
County.
have to- We wouldn't have to do any maintenance, you know, but it'd only be, what, there are 5 roads out there?
5 or 6.
Yeah, 5 or 6 county roads, so it'd be just a matter of changing them signs to identify that. But I wouldn't have any problem doing that at all. But I think they're all, right now, they say, Old 421.
Everyone's at Old 421.
Does that require an ordinance to change the old ordinance?
As you say, to change the old ordinance, yeah, you're gonna have to enact something new.
Eric, do you have any input on this?
I think right now we have North Old US HWY 421, is the way that that's gonna validate for us. But the addressing issues right now are a lot, so I don't know that I don't know that my input is anything other than whatever fixes it.
When you say the addressing issues are a lot, is it with this particular one or is it everything, other addresses in
The
general?
county as a whole.
I just wanted to make sure I understood.
But I don't know that we've ever had issue with, I mean, that's a really 10,000 foot view, but no one has ever brought to my attention that old 421 specifically.
I'm trying to remember from the audit, is it 50 addresses or such?
Probably.
But it was, I think, over like 4 or 5 different North US Highway 421, old US Highway 4. So I would say whatever we go with, we standardize, so it would be 56, 44 north.
Old 421, or what, I mean, I don't care, I just wanna do it one time. I wanna fix it one time.
It looks like right now it's validating with directional old US Highway 421, so. So north old US HWY 421.
Yeah, I started changing them all to that, and then I thought that since it's not a US highway, now the old probably takes care of that, it's old US highway, but the signs say old 421. And so I asked the technical review and they were all over the place. They thought we should just go with the signs, except for Todd, he thought we should go with Michigan Road, we should keep it Michigan Road from Greensburg to Shelby County, because in Shelby County, it's Michigan Road.
I'd like to see just the ordinance drafted out before I make a decision. Just so I can see it. We can come back to that one,
Okay,
but
all right, and then the other one was Old State Road 46, or Old Highway 46, again, same thing, all over. There's 4 or 5 different addresses on that very short strip. Some of them just say State Road 3 bypass, and some of them have, so whatever we decided to go with on the 421, I thought we should go with 46 also. Just Old 46, then
is this causing a problem with your system or anything?
no,
like
it
that?
just came to light when we were trying to get when we did a report on the different addresses, how the AP address and the 911 address, when we compared them, all of this came up. Been going through trying to fix them, and just one.
Part of my hesitancy too here on this one is, obviously we'd be changing people's addresses. And I don't wanna just make a quick decision like this. I mean, we have this information out here today, it's been discussed now today at the meeting, but I don't wanna just go and here in a 5-minute conversation where nobody else knows about it, making this decision that, hey, all of a sudden you need to be writing your address differently or calling your credit card company or whatever, and letting them know your address is completely different.
Yeah, and we've discussed changing addresses because we've got a lot of addresses around Westport that will have to be changed at some point. The federal government's coming out with a new standard for addressing, and so I looked that I'm kind of anticipating a lot of changes to be made. So Debbie and I have been putting together kind of a packet of address change forms. Don't forget to call your credit card company. Don't forget to get online to all the bills that you pay automatically. Don't forget to contact this person
Your
And-
driver's license, your
and your
insurance
driver's
company.
license. Yeah, and we've tried to put together that list of everybody that's gonna have to be notified. And it's not an easy little list, and a lot of the forms and how to order your new placard for your mailbox, and been trying to put that together because there are gonna be some changes to the addresses, so.
I'm not telling you I'm opposed to this.
No,
I
no, I
wanna,
understand.
maybe we get that stuff out, send it out to people, so that they know that it's happening. If we approve it, and then give them 30 days or whatever to actually get it done before it goes into effect.
Yeah, we work pretty
On our
closely
end.
with Indianapolis Post Office, and the post office is here, so. Yeah, we don't wanna do anything. I don't wanna do anything like this. It's just when I started fixing the addresses, it wasn't going to be, just an easy fix. It was, I wanted to make sure that everybody had their right to speak their opinion or decide what we wanted, or.
Well, I'd ask that we just table that one, get the ordinance prepped, get the pack of information so that we can actually see what everything's gonna be, and you're sending it out to people. So that we can actually know how we're gonna handle that side of things, the PR side of things,
Yeah,
before we make any decisions on that.
I don't envy anybody.
Will that mailing just be sent to the people that potential address is gonna change?
Yeah, that's what I would
Yeah.
imagine. My address is on there. I appreciate you letting me know.
I just wanna do it one time. Give everybody the heads up. And maybe, a lot of people might not have to change. I don't know what the answer is. I'm just asking for some guidance before I
No, it's,
jump in.
yeah. We can get that going.
I appreciate it. Thank you. That's all I have to do.
Kenny?
Thank you.
Good evening, gentlemen. Since our last meeting, I've had 35 building inspections, 15 new permits and plan reviews, 3 permit renewals. Had 2 red tags. First one was for building addition without a permit. Property owner came in, required the permit. The second was on a meter-based inspection. The ground wires were not in conduit, and the property owner had connected his wires to the power company's lugs in the meter base. His electrician changed the wires and installed the conduit over the ground wires, and the green tag was applied and the power company was notified. And I received a construction design release for the Love's Truck Stop remodel. They also emailed me some specs for the remodel and plans. So we got a big project on it there.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
No, sir. Thank you.
Janet,
Okay,
step up.
our election deputy is going to give you our paperwork.
So the election board had asked that we just kind of notify you, we made some changes to our vote center plan. This is gonna affect mainly municipal elections when it's just a city election. Basically, it says, when there's a city election, like right now, we've got 11 vote centers. We don't need to have all 11 vote centers in use if it's just city elections. So city elections, if it's just an election in Greensburg, it's gonna be at my St. John's Hall and the community church. If there's no other town that's gonna have a contested race, we're not gonna hold an election there, we're not gonna utilize those vote centers. If, let's say, St. Paul has an election, we're gonna utilize that vote center for that election. It just eliminates us from having to use all 11 vote centers when there's just city elections, and we don't need to staff those 11 vote centers on election day or for the primary election. It also changes New Point from the New Point Community Building to the New Point Fire Department, where I guess utilize that for a vote center.
We just wanted to give you an update on what was voted on. That was last week.
Pretty logical. That it? Thanks. Thank you. Sean,
I'm actually gonna use the podium. I never use the podium, but I'm going to this time because I got papers. Of which I have some for you, gentlemen. So I'm here today to talk about the Governor's Public Health Commission. We spoke about it a little bit a few meetings ago, but I wanted to give you some updates on it. I'm gonna be real honest, this was one of those legislations, I wasn't sure where it was gonna go. I didn't have a whole lot of hope. And it came out of the Senate 41-7 and is now before the House. So this has a lot of momentum behind it. And it looks like something's gonna happen on this. So we talked a little bit about the background on it, and I'll give you just a little bit more background on it. Indiana right now ranks, we are a very pro-business state. We rank 6th in business affordability. We rank 7th in opportunity. We rank 9th in pre-K through 12th grade. We rank 19th in growth of the economy and 25th in public safety. So obviously, all of those are top tier. However, when it comes to public health, things get a little bit sadder. Smoking and tobacco use, we're 45th out of 50. Obesity, we're at 46th out of 50. Mental health, we're 43rd out of 50. Childhood immunizations, we're 41st. And public health funding, we're 45th. Public health funding in Indiana is at $51 per capita, and the national average is 90. So we are in the bottom 25% on funding. That is part of the reasons, and one of the main drivers, I think, one of the most telling drivers is that our actual lifespan decreased from 21 to 22. This was not related to COVID. I'm sorry, it's from 20 to 21, not related to COVID by 2 years. That's phenomenal. And we saw incremental growths in our longevity of months would be, considered successful, and then we dropped 2 years. So really stark statistics there. Healthcare costs nationally for the United States, obviously nationally, $4,600 per person. That's everybody, every man, woman, and child spends $4,600 a year in healthcare costs. And we're talking about $51 per person for public health in Indiana. This initiative in Decatur County, by the way, is $18.69. So, and Decatur County is not the worst. We're actually in the top quarter for public health funding. So we are actually not too bad on that. And many of the metrics, which I have in there in your paperwork, we actually aren't too bad, but we can improve. And one of the things that this becomes is an economic development issue, and this becomes a way to help attract businesses to Greensburg, Decatur County, and Indiana. So what is happening here is they are asking for a $2.5 million increase in the budget for the Indiana Department of Health. This would be passed down to the local health departments, in a variety of ways, but we would see our funding increase to the national average. The beauty of this is this does not require any local dollars at all. This is all state dollars. So if we do not take this money, basically all those counties that do take it are going to get our tax dollars and we're not going to get any of it. So this will allow for the Decatur County Health Department to increase our investments toward new programming, but in addition, it will allow us to partner with other agencies. We've already had discussions with the community health clinic. We would like to offer mini grants to people who are already doing public health. We don't want to come in here and reinvent the wheel. We just want to get the public health better. So if there are areas where we need to add programming, we will. If there's areas where somebody else is already doing the programming, but additional funding would help them, that's what we want to do with that. So that being said, there are some requirements that are in here from the local health departments that I'm proud to say that some of the requirements that they are asking for, we have already started, even with our minimal funding, we have begun some of these. And I will say that while a lot of you probably know, public health, we do immunizations. Well, that is not a mandated task that we've ever had to do. That's just something that there was a need for, so we did it. We don't have to have a public health nurse, but we did. So I'm proud to say we've done that. That will be one of the additional things. The blood lead levels in Indiana, in the United States, have actually lowered, the threshold is lowered. So now we have to do lead investigations for a lot more kids. We are, again, happy to say we are closing out lead investigations already. We will be mandated to have a school liaison, which is a person who works directly with from the health department to the public health nurses or the public school nurses. Really have to say we've had that in place for over a year now. Been very effective on that. Some of the things we're looking at there are increased dental screenings, vision screenings, immunizations, and there's a variety of efforts being made in that, and we're already on top of that. So I'm really proud that of our people that have taken that initiative or doing that. We are also looking at increased, I don't want to say regulation, but I suppose it is, of tattoo parlors, eyelash extensions, and piercings. Right now, they're largely unregulated and unfortunately are an area that people can and do have serious illness in. We would be looking at some increases in our well water provisions that we have. Not new ordinances, but offering new services to our constituents. Right now, in order to get your well water tested, you can drop it off at the health department, which is really nice, but then we send it to a private lab that charges $72 to have that done. We are looking at an initiative to provide that free of charge to any residents. As I've spoken about earlier, we've already increased our vaccination rates and our eligibility. So we're really excited about that. Some of this money is funded through tax dollars. Some of this money is funded through other initiatives. We are looking at, as a state, some medical billing records that would be provided by the state. So again, no investment on our part, but we'd be able to recoup some of those vaccination costs that we maybe aren't right now. The other part of this is increase in trauma care for our area. We are in a trauma care desert here, meaning that we are 45 minutes from the nearest trauma hospital. So there are some initiatives in place. They're in really initial phases with Decatur County Memorial Hospital regarding how we can help on that service, not we as the health department, but just as public health in general. And also EMS, there's a critical shortage of EMS in the state and the country, and some initiatives to try and increase that. So again, happy to say we've already reached out to some partner agencies. We are exploring new ways that we can do this. Rex McKinney has been coming to our board meetings. He's got a standing invitation to always attend and has said he will. So we're looking at him as a very valued partner, and we feel like this is going to be really good. And I guess the only thing I'm here for is information, and also to try and increase and to ask you to support this. This does require local government to sign off on this. But like I said before, the money's getting spent, it's either gonna get spent in Decatur County or it's gonna get spent somewhere else. So I would urge, I would ask, I would request, I would beg if you want me to, for you guys to please support this initiative. And that's all I have, but I would entertain questions.
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, I love what I hear. Hopefully it passes.
I'm feeling better about it. All right, thank you both very
We
much.
do plan to support it.
Thank you.
Has it been assigned to a committee yet now?
I don't know where it stands on the House exactly. I don't think it has. Well, no, that's not true. Yes, it has. It is in front of a committee right now. Budget committee, I believe, right this minute, so. Thank you all.
Rick Knopf,
Am I good here, or you want me there?
I don't know where you'd be good at. Rick. There's fun.
I shouldn't have opened that door, I don't suppose. So on March 1st, I'm here to talk about broadband. On March 1st, Brian and I attended the area plan meeting with a revised area plan ordinance, 2003-5 is the number. In your packet, I gave you all a copy of that. That passed, getting us at the next level of becoming broadband ready. There are currently about probably over 80 counties and communities that are broadband ready currently. We want Decatur County to be one of those. I think it would offer significant impact to those that are applying for grants, service providers that want to provide service in the community. Those types of things will benefit that greatly. The city of Greensburg is currently broadband ready, so we just want to bring the county into that. So in your packet, you've got a resolution that has been approved, verbiage by the state. That's why we're here, kind of a second go around. The first attempt at this had some things in it that the state wanted to change. So we've got Ernie's blessing on that. So I'd ask for that to be looked at tonight, or any questions for Brian or I or Krista. We can likely answer those tonight.
Has this been assigned a number?
In the past, we've just assigned one. Once it's approved, we would get a number for it.
Why, I guess, what specifically does it mean to be broadband ready, or why is that needed? Why do businesses or corporations looking for counties or municipalities that are broadband ready?
The service providers want to look at broadband ready communities because they know they can come in and the community is willing to accept and work with them maybe in a more aggressive manner to provide permitting, to provide a streamlined approach to getting either fiber laid or towers built, vertical assets, those type of things put together. Also, there are companies that would apply for grants to, the federal government would help fund those type of things. And if we're broadband ready and that company wants to put infrastructure in Decatur County, then that kind of green lights that box or checks that box, if you will. Anything to add, Brian, on that?
I think in there, it essentially helps to expedite the process for telecommunications companies that wants to put in infrastructure in the county, throughout the county. And it says that we are organized, we have a process in place, we have a person in place to help them navigate that process. Last thing any sort of business wants or unknown hiccups or anything like that. And what that ordinance says is that we're organized and we're ready. And as Rick said, with more money coming down, not only from the federal government, but even from the state government, showing that we are prepared for those kind of investments. He said checks the box. I'd like to think a little bit more than that, but the bottom line is yes, checks the box.
In essence, Krista here, correct me if I'm wrong, this doesn't this just says that we're willing to look at this kind of stuff. It doesn't remove any of the approval from the review committee or anything like that as far as.
It makes it a little more restrictive. It requires us to be a little bit faster. We don't have our regular 30 days. I think it's more like 14 or 15, but
14.
But there still has to be the review. There still has to
Yes.
be the positive recommendation and
Right.
all of that. So
yeah,
we aren't
we're just gonna
changing
push it
anything.
through, yeah. And for the most part, we don't permit broadband or that sort of thing. What we're gonna get into is if there's a new tower that needs to be built, the location and how quickly, that kind of information. But yeah, we'll push it through in the time and manner.
You know,
Have you seen those?
no. That was what I was gonna say as well.
Yeah,
The-
there's
the
only
only-
like one or two little changes
There were
from
two.
the last one.
There were a couple of typos that I noticed as well that I think if we're doing this so that we're attracting
Yeah, there's
large
one
companies,
common.
there were a couple of typos that I'd like to get cleaned up. And then Chad, I'd like your approval on it as well. From what I look at here, I don't see.
That's
So
fine,
we're
yeah.
covered.
And that's fine. We want it to be correct when it goes. And we've been working on this for a while, so
On this,
at your next meeting,
the fourth whereas, I think it's supposed to say Decatur
you're good to
County
go.
right there as well.
I noticed in reading it for the 15th time that at the bottom of that, I think there's a space in economic that's econom and then ick. So
Yes.
that needs to be brought together. And then also, if you want to consider approving that, once that gets done, we'll do that at the next commissioners meeting that you have. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. And then finish up real quick. I know you've got a lengthy agenda, but I've also submitted to you just for information. Watch Communications has a updated map of their current towers and their proposed towers. So that, in my opinion, we need to kind of think about how we can educate the community on what's coming. Jessica at Economic Development also put together a sheet in there that speaks to certainly not all, but some of the broadband availability that is already in our county, whether that's T-Mobile or Watch or ETC, just different things like that. And we tried to put some costs associated with that. So I think that as we go forward, we'll try to transition when we're a broadband ready community to be one of, or an educator for our folks in the community to be able to access those resources that are available or will be available in the future. So if there's any questions, Brian Robbins' phone number, always easy to find. We'd be good to go with that. So, thank you both for listening, and anything you want to add, Brian?
No, I will say that the ordinance there, that's the verbatim from the state. If there's some errors there to move there in copy, but as far as that's the exact same ordinance that's been adopted by all the other cities.
And just to be fair, I'd say that, and I know Mark and I have talked about this in the past, but there may come a day that we come to the commissioners to ask for some support for vertical assets or something like that to help fill in some gaps, that sort of thing from a budget perspective. So just in all disclosure.
Never cross that road when we get there.
That's right. That's right.
Thanks, Rick.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And Brian for working on this. It's not a lot of us have good internet. So. Steve Gunn.
Hopefully I'll make it pretty short, but when I was on the old fair board, we got changed. One of the things that was supposed to have been done is send the information to the State Board of Accounts. So I didn't know whether that had ever been followed through on, what's the answer from the State Board of Accounts. I just like to make it public knowledge, whether, you know, it's done or not done, or where we're at on that.
Has been sent. I got an email on January the 28th, either 23rd or 28th, from Cindy Slavin of State Board of Accounts. Because the old Fair Board was supported with less than $50,000 of county money, they would not, was one reason they would not audit them. The second reason was they were a 501c3. They typically do not audit 501c3s. And the third reason was Decatur County government had to pay for the audit, which started at $35,000. So those are the three reasons that she gave me. She gave me a number to call her boss, and I did call her boss and verify all that, and so that's where it stands.
So there's been real no answer, yes or no then?
They're not gonna do anything with it. The State Board of Accounts will not do anything with it because first of all, the money, the 50,000, I think we supported you at 40 at one level and a few years at 20. And they said that there's a level of 50,000 plus before they step in.
So does that mean it's gonna be dropped or no answer?
We're not gonna pay $35,000.
Well, that's fine. I'm just trying to find out an answer, so we know.
That's,
The people have asked me about it, so I can give them an answer, so.
as far as it's behind us.
And since the commissioners down in charge of the fair, grounds and everything, are the rates publicized? So if anybody wants to find out what the rates are, and who do they contact? Do they contact Janet's office, or who do they contact?
The extension office covers that right now, the rentals.
So all that's public knowledge. Okay, thank you.
Jamie?
Hi, guys. We just want to touch base on kind of where we were at on our fair board meeting, with the fair meeting the other night. Kind of left there not knowing really what's going on. Never really got an answer on why we decided on what we were going to do on the restroom situation.
I gave you an explanation that there are 3 businesses in the county that supply portalets. After last year's fair, the other 2 came to us asking if they could participate, one of which volunteered to do it for free. I suggested that night we put it out for bids, and you said you didn't feel that was fair to give it to the company that.
Correction, that's not what I said at all.
I asked you, do you want me to put it out for bids?
You asked me if I'd like to be put in the rotation, what you asked me, and I said, sure. Nothing got said about the bid part. That's kind of what I'm kind of concerned about is I don't understand why we didn't go with a bid. I mean, if there's 3 people willing to do it, then could we not have went with a bid and lowest bid would have been?
We can still do that, Jimmy.
Can we?
Yeah.
Okay. And that was my biggest question. I just kind of wondered why. I mean, I think.
You insisted that night that we go with Best Way.
I did, and I still think you should. I really do. I mean, if they're offering to do it free, I'm wholeheartedly. I mean, like I told you, it doesn't matter to me, and I'm okay with that. That would be your decision. I would think that would be honestly the right decision. If somebody is volunteering, I'm here to prove to you it's not about the money to me. I mean, I'm about doing the right thing. The only other concern I have is like I said, I know that I discussed with you before the meeting and everybody else on that board, except for one person. And everybody I talked to said that they have no clue this was even going on. I mean, you told me you didn't know what was going on. I talked to Scott Best. I talked with pretty much everybody that sat on there that said they had no clue that was even coming that night. That's the only thing I'm a little concerned about. I mean, I don't think that it was handled very well, and I'm not at you at all, and I want you to know that. I feel like I have a pretty good relationship with you, and I think we can talk and do pretty good, but I think the situation, if everybody really looked at it, and I'm not gonna mention names, I think we all know where it started and how it happened, and I don't think it was handled professional. Would you agree with that?
I'm gonna tell you, we can put it out for bids if that's what you wish to do. I will put it out for bids.
No, it's not about what I wish. I want you guys to do what you feel is right, honestly. This is not have anything to do with me. I just want to make sure that things are done fair. That's all I ask.
I wasn't there at this fair board meeting, so I didn't hear
Right.
all the conversations and everything. So obviously you were one of the entities that would be supplying the porta potties for the fair. I heard Best Way as well, who's talking about doing it for free.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing you aren't doing it for free.
No, like I said, I was okay with that.
And then who's the third entity then?
It would have been,
Mazingo, is that what they're calling them?
I think they are calling themselves Mazingo.
And I'm guessing they're charging as well, they're a business. I guess, when was the last time we got confirmation that Best Way was gonna do this for free?
At last year's fair.
Okay. How much did your sanitation service cost last year?
$1,560.
Do we know how much Mazingo is potentially charging?
No, because we haven't put it out for bid. And that was his price last year, correct?
I believe so,
1560.
yes.
Okay. We don't have any contracts or anything like that at this point, right? Okay. Sorry if you're interrupting, Jamie.
No, you're fine. That's all I want to do is just, I want to make sure that it's done right. I mean, like I said, I've talked to the other people that sat out there that said that they were totally, had no clue that was even happening. And I mean, in all honesty, I really wish somebody would kind of look into this a little bit. Is that even a possibility about the way this was handled?
I don't know what you want me to do if you don't want me to put it out for bids. I mean, I think that's the fairest thing for me to do.
No, that's what I want you to do, but we also know what really went on and how this all went about. I'm trying to be very polite here about this and be professional.
And so am
I know, but I also would like to see this fixed so it doesn't happen to somebody else. I mean, we cannot set in these positions and not follow our own rules. I mean, honestly. I mean, it's like I told you before, thank goodness I've been in business as long as what I have. I mean, I got blindsided. If this would have happened to somebody else, this could have ruined somebody. I mean, it's just not good.
It will be placed for bids, up for bids. You will be notified by the auditor's office at the time and place that those bids will be taken.
And the situation will be looked into, right? That happened.
The 3 companies that wish to bid are 4 or 5 or 25 will be opened up to take for bids from here on.
Okay. That's all we can do then, isn't it? Thank you for your time.
Nicola Jones.
Hi, I'm gonna go up to the podium.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nicola Jones. I work with Enterprise Fleet Management. I just wanted to say thank you for letting me come this evening and present to the county commissioners. I really appreciate it. A little just kind of intro about Enterprise Fleet Management and me. I've worked for Enterprise for about 6 years now, so got quite a bit of knowledge in the industry of what's going on. And what Enterprise Fleet Management does is we provide customized fleet solutions for commercial and government clients using an effective vehicle life cycle to help drive down total cost of ownership on the fleets. So I'm sure you guys have heard of Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We are an affiliate of Enterprise Rent-A-Car, just Enterprise Fleet Management. Locally here in the state of Indiana, we have about 17 employees that work locally here in Indiana. We manage about 150 clients with 12,000 vehicles here locally. So that's just kind of like a little bit of overview and a highlight of what we do. So what I wanted to present today is I had a conversation with Mark just kind of about the county and what you guys are currently doing with some of your vehicles. So I took some of your guys' current fleet data from the highway department and the sheriff's department and put together a essentially a 10-year analysis showing, hey, over the 10 years, here are the potential savings that we could do for the county. So what I just presented to the journey is just kind of a fleet synopsis of what I did. So kind of an overall of the situation. There are 40 vehicles that I did this analysis on, and just kind of like a highlight overview of the fleet. 22.5% of the light duty fleet is 10 years or older, and 67.5% of that same fleet is 6 years or older, with an average current age of 6.9 years. And it takes about, on average, 10 years for the county to cycle out of the fleet vehicles. A couple things that really go into like looking at an aging fleet or an older fleet. One, you run into higher maintenance expenses, right? Because vehicles are older, they need more repairs, those repairs cost a little bit more. You also run into things like fuel degradations, they're getting less fuel economy, but then you've also got safety issues as well. So out of the 40 vehicles, 20 of them predate 2018, which don't have the standardization of a backup camera. 8 of them predate electronic stability control, and then 3 of them predate anti-lock brake standardization. So just a couple safety things to consider there as well. But with the 10-year analysis on page 2, just kind of the objective. So by putting the county on an effective vehicle life cycle over the 10 years, I'm proposing a potential savings of $628,573 with a sustainable savings of around $11,000 per year. Because I obviously want to show like the immediate impact that we can have on the county, but what does the sustainability of a program look like for the county as well? So that's kind of like an quick high level overview of my analysis and what we can do for the county essentially. The biggest thing is with that 10-year cycle that the county is currently doing, I've got a proposed cycle of 4.6 years. So depending on the use of the vehicle and the department that the vehicle is being used for, and the type of aftermarket or upfit that's required on those vehicles, there might be a shorter life cycle or a longer life cycle, just really depends, but an average of 4.6 years. And with doing so, like I said, we're being able to lower your maintenance expenses, and then your fuel expenses as well. So maintenance expenses will go down from an average of around just over $300 per month per vehicle, and then that'll decrease to around $70 per month per vehicle. A huge factor that goes into that is just the age of the fleet and the amount of miles that the fleet vehicles are driving in the county, which is an average of 15,900 on an annual basis as well. So I'll just kind of like pause there. I just threw a lot of information out there at one time, but for Mark or Jeremy, I have what questions there are.
What do you do with what do we do with the current vehicles that we own?
So this is very much a phase-in approach. So if you saw on page 4, that's the actual 10-year, Jeremy. So you can see a year 2023 through 2027 where we're phasing in as far as current owned fleet to like a leased program. So with your current vehicles, you continue running them, and then we can sell them for you on your behalf. This is an all-encompassing program. We want to take as much off the county's plate. At the end of the day, you guys have your job to do, and I have my job to do. I'm an expert in fleet management. Let me essentially like be a tool in your tool belt. I'm an assisted fleet advisor, but we would resell those vehicles as we're phasing them out and then put the newer vehicles on the enterprise fleet management lease program. And those vehicles would get sold via the auction just through the legislation right now, but any of your leased vehicles that would be through the enterprise program would then get sold the way that we sell our rental cars. We try to utilize or piggyback off of the enterprise infrastructure as much as we can. So we primarily sell our vehicles through our network of wholesalers. So we would then sell those vehicles through that. Does that help answer your question?
Yes. Do you take a percentage then of our current vehicles, what they would, the ones that would be sold then, if you're managing that portion of it? When we're phasing out our vehicles and your vehicles are coming in?
When you say a percent, like, are we making an income off of your current own fleet? So no, we can, if you want us to, we can manage it. So we are very transparent about how we make our money, and I can tell you those main three ways right now. So on any lease vehicle, one, there's money is called holdback. It's money behind invoice when we're factory ordering the vehicles through the manufacturer. It's money you would never even see, right? So that's one way that we make a profit. Second is if you continue, or if you chose to do the open-ended equity lease structure, there is an interest rate connected to that. Typically, we do a 3-year T-bill plus 400 basis points. So if the 3-year T-bill is 3%, the interest rate would then be 7%. Now I do have a quick question. Are you guys a member of Sourcewell?
I'm gonna go with no.
Okay, if you guys become a member of Sourcewell, there are potential, like, there are savings that go with that as well. We can talk about that a little bit. But so that interest factor is one way we make income, and then we also have a management fee associated, attached to the vehicle. So typically with government, it's 0.10% of the capitalized price of the vehicle. So for simple math purposes, if the vehicle is $30,000, the management fee 0.10, so we would make $30 a month per vehicle off of that simple math example. So those are the three main ways. When we do resell your vehicle, whether it's a client-owned vehicle, or like county-owned vehicle, or an enterprise, there is a $500 service charge. But the equity from the resale of the vehicle, that goes back to the county. That's your guys' equity. So if we sell the vehicle for $5,000, we would take just the service charge out of $5,000, and the county would then get $4,500 back in return. And that's a little different from what normal people think about what a lease is, you know, you've got restricted mileage, you're responsible for wear and tear, things like that. That's a closed lease. What we offer is an open-ended equity lease. So in our mind, because we're cycling out of these vehicles a lot quicker, it doesn't make sense to pay for the life of the vehicle if we're not using it for a full life of it. We're using it for more or less an effective life of the vehicle. So let's just pay for the effective use of that vehicle. So if we, same example, $35,000 truck, right? And let's say it's on a 5-year term, we're gonna depreciate it down to, let's say, $10,000, right? So you pay $25,000 over 5 years for that vehicle. And then at the end, let's say we sell it for $20,000. So then you've got $10,000 of equity that would go back to the county. Ideally, you keep that money in your fleet, so then we use that, I guess kind of like a down payment towards the next vehicle. And that's what really drives the sustainability of a program like this. So that in return would lower your lease payment as well. But that equity is the county's.
So on page 4, your chart here at the top, this includes county highway vehicles and sheriff's department vehicles?
Yes.
Both in that?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Sheriff bugged out, didn't he?
I can tell you I'd had a conversation with Sheriff about that. And that'll have to be a topic that we'll have to address at another time when he can get his input on it. And what all does your maintenance cover?
So we've got 2 maintenance programs. Our full maintenance program where we can fix and budget the maintenance expense. So that way, one, it's inflation proof, because that's a little crazy right now, and you don't have to worry about the ebbs and flows. That includes all of your maintenance up to 100,000 miles, excluding brakes and tires. We can include brakes and tires. I typically say to keep that separate because that's a wearable and it's based on driver behavior. And there could be a situation where we recommend you cycle out of the vehicle sooner than we've proposed due to the market or the industry or incentives or availability, whatever that may be. I would hate for you to pay for something that you didn't use. So we like to exclude that. So that's the first maintenance program. And then we have our pass-through maintenance program, and I know talking with Mark, you guys are building a new highway building, so you do a lot of in-house maintenance. So what I would propose is we can put leased vehicles and the county-owned vehicles on our maintenance management program. That's typically $10 a month per vehicle, but what that does is that allows us to track all of that data, so that way whoever is, I guess, recording that data for the highway department, they just get plugged into our system. It's called auto integrate, so as long as they have internet out there, they have access to that. They can just plug in, they can put in all the repairs, the hours, the price for parts, downtime, whatever they need to, and then that data then flows into our website. And I will be honest, I'm a little selfish. I want as much data on your fleet as we can get, because the more data we have, then the better we can pinpoint that effective life cycle and make a better financial recommendation for the county as well.
What other counties are you working with that are
Yeah, so
close around us, about the same size?
I can just tell you, or here, can I just give this to you?
Yeah,
Okay.
if you would. Todd is our highway superintendent.
Thank you.
In the very back.
So, counties that we work with, I'll just name them off real quick. Cass, Elkhart, Hancock, Hendricks, Howard, Montgomery, Morgan, Noble, St. Joseph, Fountain, Warren, and Hamilton. I will say, I also put in the synopsis a case study that we did for Hendricks County. So I did put that case study in there where, because of a program with us, we were able to reduce their fleet expenses by 52%. So that's just a synopsis. And then if there's anybody specifically, Todd or Jeremy or Mark, that you would like me to connect you with, I would be more than welcome to give you like our primary fleet contact with the different counties that we work with. It's obviously my job to tell you how great we are, but I would love for you to hear from our current partners, you know, why they came on board with the partnership with us and why they stay a partnership with us. Because at the end of the day, like I said, it's very customized, the different fleet solutions that we offer to the counties for you to take advantage of.
This is just on the vehicles, we're not doing dump truck, are we?
Everything under CEF.
Okay.
We'll certainly need to meet with the sheriff and walk through this with him at some point. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, no, thank you, I appreciate it.
Worth taking a hard look at.
There's a lot of information.
There it is, yes. Thank you.
Thanks for coming down. We have a request for use of facilities September 15th and 16th. It's the Tree City Fall Festival. The insurance certificate is here. Mark Carmen has applied for this. The weekend event for the courthouse grounds.
I'd move to approve.
Second. Also, I've talked to Todd and I just want to make this public. We need to, the county school corporation has contacted me. South Elementary does not have a school, it's not designated a school zone on that road. We need to look into getting that posted, and I think it's probably takes an ordinance.
Give me some enacted ordinance.
To do that, just a safety thing. So we need to kind of investigate that. Called me last week about that.
That's on two roads, isn't it, right?
Well, the
950 and.
Well, they wanted to post, it wouldn't be a school zone on Cougar Road on 950. They just wanted it maybe a posted 45, and I don't know that I agree with that, but we do need, in front of the elementary school, need to be posted, school zone. And we can talk about that. Chad's got to look up what that entails, get that posted. Anything else? Go to the cause? Yeah,
Did you get my text earlier today?
I did, and I'm sitting in the dentist chair since then, so my mind's just.
Well, I just basically wanted a quick follow-up from the vote where we voted last meeting to close the pool so that we could assess it and further decide how to proceed. And we also talked about possibly trying to remove some of the liner from the pool so that we could evaluate the actual condition of the pool substrate so that we knew how to proceed. I did reach out to the liner company because I'm not really up on pressure testing a pool enough to know exactly what is involved. But provided that the concrete is in good shape, then the next step before replacing a liner, if that's what you should decide to do down the road, and that's not really what, we're still working for a new aquatic center as well. But the pressure testing would have to then be done if the concrete does indeed turn out to be in better shape than we think it is. But it does not require water in the pool. He told me neither test requires water to be in the pool. I wanted to clarify that before we did proceed with possibly cutting the liner actually. At that point, we wouldn't be able to put water back in it without a new liner. So he suggested that I go with a local plumber to save money because it would be cheaper, and they are actually thrilled at the aspect of working with us to remove the liner, which was, like I said, at a cost of $11,715. So I'm just here to keep the lines of communication open. How you want me to proceed since we did vote to close it? I think we need to keep it on the table and keep her moving forward with the plan. So that's basically what I'm here for.
Did I understand Jody to say that he and his guys could maybe get that out or part of it out? Or?
We could cut it away in areas and get some of it out, but I don't think my guys have the equipment or the manpower that would pull that big liner out of the deep end. But they could drain the water all the way down so that we could cut squares in the bottom and really get an idea what that concrete looks like down there. That's probably gonna be the worst shape of the concrete situation that we're gonna see is gonna be at 12 to 6 inches. Because that's where the water, is gonna go. And if it gets underneath that liner, then it freezes and thaws, and that's what affects the concrete. You put a liner in a pool in the first place because your concrete was aging. I mean, it was a concrete pool to begin with. So for the life of me, I don't remember what it looked like, 2007, 8 when we started talking about this. So I'm just wanting to make sure we keep it on the table. We are still meeting as a pool committee, and there are a couple other options for a couple more pools we may visit. And I would welcome a commissioner to go with me, council member to go with me. If we go to the one that Don Lowe recommended I call about, and I did, is in Frankfurt. And they did replace their pool on the same site with a brand new aquatic center, which it will open Memorial Day weekend. Still finishing it up, but they're working on it. So just here to stay in communication and make sure that we keep moving forward in whatever way we can. We're still trying to find funding for that new proposal, and we're definitely keeping that on the table as well. We just had a meeting this afternoon, so we continue to meet about every 3 weeks as a committee and keep discussing possible ways we can make that happen.
Thank you. I guess,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, before we throw any more money at it, I'd just rather see one of your folks go in there and just cut a hole in.
So you're ready, I mean, that's what I wanted to make sure you're ready for us to do that at this point.
Are you okay with that, Mark? Before we throw another $11,000 at something that we closed already, I'd rather give us that quick view of those worst areas. Let's see how bad it really is.
Okay.
And go from there.
The liners, yeah, it's not.
It's done, right?
It's
The
done.
liner's shot.
It's a 10-year warranty
Yeah,
liner, and we're in year 15 right now.
And so
We patched it
even if we wanted to open up the pool now, would we have to put in a new liner? As it
to
is
try
right
to
now?
pull it off in 2023?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay. so we aren't destroying something. It's
No, I
usable
mean,
right now.
well, according to my maintenance staff, they say it will not hold again when we put the water back in it. That's what happened last year. We filled it and then once we got it almost full, the liner pulled off and we patched it.
Well, I'd rather see what's down there before we go and spend any.
And that's what he's recommending as a first step, so if that's what you would like, and that's what we'll, how we'll proceed.
I'm good with that.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else? Well, our first evening commissioners meeting turned out to be a full house, so thank you all for coming. Have a safe trip home.
Thank you.
You know.